Swami Vivekananda, after his Guru Ramakrishna attained Samadhi, he wanted to take his master's message to the West. So, he wants to go and do this. But he wants to seek the permission of Sharada Devi, who was Ramakrishna's wife. She said, Naren, can you give me that knife? She said, I wanted to see how you will give the knife. You may go and spread the master's message. To be spiritual has always been also understood as to be gentle. And unfortunately, to be gentle has always been misunderstood and misinterpreted as to be soft or to be weak. The weak are gentle, not by choice, because they're incapable of making a strong imprint, they're gentle. Gentleness is of value only when it's by choice. You're capable of being violent, but you choose to be gentle. That's of great value. You're incapable of violence. Now you're gentle. That's not of any great value because that's coming from a certain incapability. Today somebody was asking me, Sadhguru, why all the goddesses in India, always they have weapons in their hands? Why our Bhairavi, though she has eyes, she doesn't have any weapons in her hands. 10 hands and no weapons. Because she's done with violence. You see the buffalo, Mahishasa, already conquered. So what needs to be treated brutally has been done. The beast has been killed. Now there is no need for weapons, so all hands free. So to bring yourself to this state, intense, not in a violent manner, intense, she's intense in victory, she's intense in energy, she's intense in her ecstasy. Her intensity is not violence, not that she's not capable of, it's just that she's done with it. In the evolution of one's action, if you look at the evolution of action, the initial part of the action will always be violent. As you become more expert with something, you will see the rough edges in your action goes away and it becomes smoother and smoother and there will be no violence in action. Even a swordsman who is an expert, only somebody who is new goes, ah, like this. An expert will just flick it and it's done. There's no violence in the action. So in the evolution of action, she's past that. Still intense, but in victory, energy and ecstasy, not in a violent manner. There are many symbolisms like that here, if you feel your eyes and see, where it is intense but not violent. Is something wrong with violence? It's not a question of right and wrong, it's just crude way of conducting life. If you say violence is bad, that means you will end up rejecting a part of yourself and you can never get rid of it because it'll not go. It'll come out in so many ways. People who are very peaceful on the street, violent at home, if they are not capable of physical violence, they're verbally violent, they're violent in their thought and emotion in so many ways. So rejecting violence is not going to work. Evolving violence into a more sophisticated action. The need is not for violence, the need is for intensity. The need for that intensity is always there in every human being. If you do not refine that need for intensity and manage to experience that intensity by simply sitting in meditativeness or in devotion or in love or in simply pure action, if you do not find refinement and still find intensity, violence will erupt from you in so many different ways. You may not have the courage to get into a physical fight, but it will happen in so many different ways and life turns ugly. It will enter every sphere of your life and the way you take things and keep things, you will know whether you're gentle or violent, you know. There's a very beautiful incident which happened. I must have told you a few times. Swami Vivekananda, all of you heard of Swami Vivekananda? After his Guru Ramakrishna attained Samadhi, he wanted to take his master's message to the West. So, he wants to go and do this, but he wants to seek the permission of Sharada Devi, who was Ramakrishna's wife. He went to see her and she was busy cooking in the kitchen. When he went and said this, she was focused on what she was doing without looking up, she listened to him. He said, I want to go to the Western world and spread the message of my master. Shall I go? So without looking up from the chores that she was doing, she said, Naren, can you give me that knife? So he picked up the knife and gave it. He's a certain kind of person, so he gave it in a certain way. Not like that, he gave it in a certain way. She took the knife and kept it aside and she said, you may go. Then he noticed this and he said, why did you ask for the knife? You have no vegetables to cut, everything is already on the pot, already in the pot, on the boil. Why did you ask for the knife? There was no need for the knife, why did you ask for it? She said, I wanted to see how you will give the knife. You may go and spread the master's message. So this is where gentleness is. Not because somebody is watching, not because you're under scrutiny, just the way you move, how you step on the planet, how you breathe, how you sit, how you stand, how you look at other people. This is where you have to refine your action. Now I'm not talking to you about mindfulness, no, being mindful of everything, no. I'm talking about refining your physical action, your verbal action. With this slowly, your mental action and emotional action also can be refined. To just move your hands and legs in a more gentle manner. This refinement can happen either because you become meditative or you consciously refine it so that you move towards meditativeness. It's good to start from both the ends. If you want to reach a destination, it's good to start from every possible end so that you get there quick enough. If you want to burn a candle quick, you burn it from both ends, isn't it? You burn it from only one end, it may take a lifetime. You want to enjoy at least half a lifetime of meditativeness, you must burn it from both ends. So you may be practicing meditation, but also consciously refining your physical action. The way you move your hands, the way you move your body, the way you move your breath, your words. This is not about becoming pretentious, this is about becoming conscious. The word celibacy does not describe or is not the translation for brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means, Brahman means the ultimate, charya means the path. You're on the path of the ultimate, that is brahmacharya. Celibacy is talking only about the physical aspect of holding yourself back from an unnatural urge which is going on in the body and more in the mind. So celibacy is not the right thing to say when we say brahmacharya. What it means is, you are working to organize your energies in such a way that your joy, your love, everything that you need is within yourself. You have enough experience in life to know that nobody, however dear they may be, is 24 hours reliable. Isn't it so? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
All of you have enough experience in life to know that, isn't it? However dear and wonderful they are, nobody in the world is reliable 24 hours of the time to maintain your love and joy, isn't it so?
Yes.
Have you realized that or are you still hoping? So it's out of this wisdom, because if one wants to really know higher dimensions of life, one thing that is necessary is that within you there is a constant sense of peacefulness and joyfulness. If this is not there, then you will go after something. If you don't feel steadily peaceful and joyful, then you will do compulsive activity of trying to be happy. So, a brahmachari is somebody who is trying to organize his energies in such a way that to be peaceful and joyful is all his own. He is not going to lean on anybody for that. Have all the brahmacharis reached there? That's not the point. They're working towards it. They need support, they need atmosphere to make that happen for themselves. It's not a small task that they have taken up. If once a human being's way has become like this, that his peace, his love, his joy is not dependent on anybody. He has the necessary background to spring up to another dimension. If this is not there, he will naturally get entangled in compulsive activity. So brahmacharya on one level fundamentally means to move from being a compulsive human being to a conscious human being. You may decorate your compulsiveness with all kinds of romance around it, but do you see it's a compulsive behavior? Yes, it is not a conscious behavior. You may have the whole world with you, it doesn't matter, but it is a compulsive behavior. You can write poems about it, you can write great stories about it, you can make movies about it, but fundamentally it's a compulsive behavior which you're trying to clothe in so many beautiful clothes
just to not face the reality. I'm not trying to take all the romance out of your life, okay? Once someone understands that if I'm involved in compulsive activity, I will never go where I want to go. Isn't it so? Yes? If one is compulsive in his life, there is no question of he having a goal to reach or attaining a certain state or whatever. Compulsiveness means a very deep sense of slavery, isn't it? So one who has realized this naturally seeks to become conscious. So it is from this understanding that we said, if you really wanting to make a journey, you should drop your compulsiveness and bring consciousness to every aspect of your life. So that is brahmacharya. Celibacy is an ugly word, because without the necessary understanding nor necessary sadhana nor energy, you just trying to hold yourself back, then you will suffer. If your energies were organized in such a way that all the time you're high, really high within yourself, you won't lean on anybody for these things, isn't it? Oh, I'm not like that right now, what to do? As I told you, these things don't come unless you make some effort towards it. One can go through life with the compulsive patterns without much effort. You can allow the life to carry you on. I know right now the new age philosophy is let it flow. I don't know what they're letting flow anyway. See, being a part of life, being involved with the process of life on the surface is one thing, at the core is another thing. Nature is on two different levels. One aspect of nature knows nothing other than self-preservation and procreation. This is the surface of nature. Your own nature if you take the nature of this body, it knows only self-preservation and procreation. It doesn't know anything else. So if you go by your physical nature, naturally this is all that you will do. Survival and procreation. Eating, sleeping, reproducing, dying. That's all that will happen if you go by the ways of the body. But at the same time, there is another nature within you which is longing to expand. If you give it the whole existence, it'll gobble up and still be hungry. Yes? Do you have that or not? If you feed the whole existence to this one, it'll gobble up everything and still be hungry for more. So there is another dimension of nature within you which wants to expand in an unbounded way. Which one do you give into is subject to who you are. If you give into the physical nature, all you will know is just this. If you give in to the inner nature, which wants to become boundless, then the life is different. So if you have given in, or if you have seen the ways of the inner nature are far beyond the ways of the physical nature, naturally you will choose to create a situation in your life that is conducive for that. It is from this understanding that brahmacharya or sannyasa became a part of spiritual process. Celibacy is a Western idea that is just to imitate the yogis of the past. All these things have been picked up at random by people. If you are not aware of this, even 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, Indian yogis traveled all over Europe and Arabia. They established many things. Even when the Phoenicians were building things in Arabia, they were setting up their empire. Even then, The Indian architects, the Indian sculptors, the Indian elephants and the Indian yogis went. That's almost 5,000–6,000 years ago. If a team of elephants, laborers, sculptors, architects and yogis have to be there, there must have been a much longer association before that, isn't it? Suddenly one team won't end up there in those days. So wherever they went, they did create some awareness of what is the significance of their way of life. So people picked this up at random without the necessary understanding. That is how celibacy became a part of other cultures. What came from a very deep understanding, just the surface of it they took. That'll happen everywhere. See the yoga, right now yoga means just twisting your body, just the surface.
ஒரு மகத்தான அலை உருவாக்கிடலாமா? எந்த மாதிரி அலை? ஆனந்த அலை பண்ணிடலாமா? எல்லாரும் சொல்லுங்க பார்க்கலாம். அலை 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 அலை.
திமிங்கலம் போல அதுவும் பேச, திமிங்கலந்தாம் பிடிச்சு நானே வந்த பின்னும் நெத்திலி வாசம் இன்னும் பேச. நெத்திலி மீன போல ஆசை, திமிங்கலம் போல அதுவும் பேச, திமிங்கலந்தாம் பிடிச்சு நானே வந்த பின்னும் நெத்திலி வாசம் இன்னும் பேச.